The alien pacifist world. When peace becomes perfection, humanity becomes obsolete. Part 1. The Arrival. Discovery, Wonder, and the Illusion of Harmony. Chapter 1. The Long Sleep Ends. The cryochamber was a cathedral of glass and ice. Rows of translucent pods lined the metallic corridor, each pulsing with a soft, rhythmic glow, slow, steady, like the breathing of the dead. Captain Mira Solin's pod was the first to open. A hiss of white vapor curled into the frozen air, catching the light like incense in a temple. Her eyelids fluttered. Her pulse, dormant for 96 years, stumbled into rhythm. The computer registered the heartbeat, confirmed viability, and began the sequence of return: chemical, thermal, electrical. Memory last. Always last. She gasped, and the world flooded back like a broken dam. She saw the mission logo, Arc Horizon, humanity's second chance, embossed on the cryochamber wall. Beneath it, the date pulsed, year 2219. Arrival window, Proxima B. The century-old dream was over. The century-old promise began. Her voice came out cracked and dry. Arc Control, this is Captain Solin. Confirm consciousness. Silence answered her. Then a voice, machine and mercifully familiar. Good morning, Captain. You have arrived. Mira staggered out of the pod. Her muscles trembled like unused instruments. The cryofluid clung to her skin in translucent threads, vanishing as the ship warmed her body with targeted heat. One by one, other pods began to open. Steam rose in slow cascades, as if the ship were breathing again after a long coma. Dr. Cale Dern was next to awaken. His eyes opened with surgical precision, no confusion, no wonder. He'd prepared his mind for this for decades before the long sleep. He simply blinked, recalibrating himself like an instrument finding tune. Vitals stable, he said, scanning Mira's arm implant. Though your adrenaline levels suggest you've just seen God. She half smiled. Close enough, we made it. Kea looked past her to the observation window. The planet rotated beyond, a sphere of blue-gold light, ringed by pale auroras that bent physics like art. So that's Proxima B, he murmured. The first world that might forgive us. Mira followed his gaze. The planet was beautiful and wrong. It shimmered too smoothly, as if polished by intelligence. Its oceans reflected no clouds, only clarity. Its continents glowed faintly, even in night shadow. Behind them, Lieutenant Anya Rourke awoke with a soldier's instinct, half alert, half suspicious. Why is it so quiet? She whispered. Shouldn't we be hearing storms? Radio chatter? Something? Dr. Rafiq Indala, last to stir, laughed softly. Perhaps silence is their way of saying hello. His voice was calm, almost reverent. Or perhaps it is warning. The AI interrupted. Planetary scans confirm atmospheric balance identical to Earth's pre-industrial composition. Temperature gradient stable. Radiation minimal. Biosignatures unknown. Mira steadied herself against the glass, watching the alien sun crest over the horizon. The light hit the ship's hull and scattered like liquid gold through her fingers. It's perfect, she whispered. Too perfect, Cale replied. His tone was analytical, not fearful. If those readings are true, this isn't nature, it's design. Rafiq stepped closer, eyes wide. A designed piece, perhaps. A civilization that chose balance instead of hunger. Or control, Anya muttered, rubbing the old scar that trailed along her jawline. You don't get peace without someone holding a weapon behind it. No one answered. The ship drifted in orbit, suspended between two possibilities, salvation or surrender. By the 6th hour of wake, Mira regained command strength. Her orders were crisp. We begin descent in 2 hours. Prepare atmospheric gear and communication nodes. Record first contact procedures. Kale, align sensor mapping to surface energy grids. Anya, ensure defensive readiness, non-lethal protocols only. Anya hesitated. Non-lethal, Captain? We don't know what we're landing into. Mira met her eyes. Exactly. We came to learn peace, not to bring our ghosts. Her reflection in the viewport looked older than she remembered. Not from age, cryostasis prevented that, but from memory. The wars that drove them here were still written in her face. The last wars of Earth, the Pacific drone crisis, the Arctic exodus, the 15-minute war that ended the idea of nations. This mission was not conquest. It was apology. Rafik approached her quietly. "You know the philosophical paradox we're walking into," he said. "If they are truly peaceful, they won't resist anything we do. That means every act we take, speech, touch, exploration, is invasion. Then we'll tread softly," she said. "Like guests in a sacred home." He smiled, weary but intrigued. Guests who might be contagious. As the ship prepared descent, a faint hum rippled through the deck. It wasn't mechanical. It was harmonic, like a choir humming at the edge of hearing. Kale looked up sharply. "Audio contamination?" The AI replied, "Negative. External resonance detected. Planetary frequency is interfacing with hull sensors." Rafik frowned. "The planet sings?" "It hums," Mira said softly. "Peace hums." The words hung in the air. Everyone felt it, the vibration that wasn't just sound, but emotion made physical. It resonated in their bones, in the space behind thought. For a moment, Anya lowered her weapon scanner. Kale's heartbeat synced with the rhythm on the monitor. Even Mira felt her pulse align with the sound. The frequency changed as if acknowledging them. "Captain," the AI said. "Incoming transmission." Mira's throat tightened. "Source? Not electromagnetic biological?" On the viewport, lines of light appeared on the planet's surface, curving patterns like veins of molten silver spreading across the oceans. Then a single pulse of light, rhythmic, slow, patient. "Are they communicating?" Rafik whispered. Kale leaned closer. "It's not language, it's acknowledgement." Mira realized she was holding her breath. "They know we're here." The hum deepened, becoming almost musical. Not an alarm, not a warning. A welcome, too gentle, too deliberate. And in that gentleness lay something far more unsettling than hostility. The crew stood motionless, 5 humans suspended in the space between wonder and dread. Kyle broke the silence. "If this is what peace sounds like, it's going to change everything." Mira turned from the glass. "Or end everything that makes us human." The hum continued, soft and constant, like the heartbeat of a god asleep beneath the clouds. When the light from the planet finally dimmed for night cycle, Mira returned alone to the observation deck. She recorded her first log. Captain's Journal, Entry 1. Humanity has reached a world without war. A world that hums in harmony. But I can't shake the feeling that something watches us, not with curiosity, but with perfect understanding. She paused, listening to the faint vibration through the hull. It feels like being forgiven by something that never sinned. Her reflection flickered against the glass as Proxima's light rolled across her eyes. Behind her, the other pods stood empty, their frost thawed, their purpose fulfilled. Ahead, the planet glowed like a promise. Or a trap. She whispered the final thought into the recorder before ending the log. They promised peace, and gave us silence too complete to breathe. Chapter 2. The Blue Gold Planet. The descent began in silence. The arc horizon slipped from orbit, its polished hull reflecting the alien sun like a tear of metal against eternity. Captain Mira Solin sat strapped into the command chair, eyes fixed on the great window as Proxima B swelled to fill the view, a luminous marble of blue and gold, turning slowly in the void. "Entry path locked," Kale said, his voice steady but distant. "No turbulence expected. The atmosphere is unnaturally smooth." "Unnaturally?" Rafik asked, leaning over the console. "Do planets obey adjectives now?" Kale's pale eyes didn't leave the instruments. "When atmospheric currents behave with the precision of an equation, yes, that's unnatural." The ship dipped through a layer of high cirrus clouds. Except they weren't clouds, not vapor, not gas. They shimmered like filaments of light suspended in air, responding to their movement. Wherever the ship passed, the haze rippled, not randomly, but rhythmically. "It's reading our trajectory," Mira murmured. "Like the planet itself is aware of us." Anya frowned. "I don't like aware planets." The moment they breached the upper atmosphere, light erupted across the horizon. It wasn't like sunrise, it was like stepping inside a pulse. The landscape below unfolded in surreal precision, oceans the color of molten sapphire, coastlines veined with gold that seemed to breathe with the tide. Every contour shimmered with faint luminescence, as though the planet's crust carried liquid light through its arteries. Rafik whispered, "It's alive." Kyle shook his head. "It's photonic resonance, metallic compounds reacting to solar charge. A geological trick." "Then why does it move to music?" Rafik pointed to the screens. Every reading, temperature, magnetic field, even gravitational variance, rose and fell in unison with the low hum they'd been hearing since orbit. "Because," Mira said quietly, "this world doesn't reflect light, it creates it." The arc horizon banked eastward over an archipelago of islands shaped like spirals, their sands pale and soft as bone. The water between them gleamed like stained glass, violet near shore, then gold where deep currents flowed. Anya muttered, "If paradise had surveillance, this would be it." Rafik smiled faintly. "Paradise always watches." They descended lower. The ship's scanning sensors began transmitting rapid-fire data: atmospheric nitrogen stable, oxygen ideal, trace elements familiar but reorganized. Life signatures detected at near-planetary saturation. Not clustered, not territorial. Everywhere. Life's distribution suggests systemic uniformity, Kale noted. No predation. No ecological hierarchy. Nothing consumes or is consumed. "So there's life," Mira said, "but no hunger." The thought unsettled her more than she expected. When the ship entered glide phase, the cockpit lights dimmed. Through the viewport, the terrain shifted from ocean to continent, a vast forested expanse glowing faintly from within. The leaves of alien trees flickered like lanterns when touched by wind. Above them, flocks of luminous forms moved in coordinated patterns, each creature like a ribbon of light trailing through the air. Leo Vega's voice crackled through the intercom from the aft bay. "Captain, external cameras show. I don't even know what I'm looking at." "The clouds are projecting shapes? Faces, maybe?" "Not random." Mira opened the rear feed. The cloud patterns were indeed forming shifting contours, soft, gentle visages, their eyes closed, their expressions serene. They appeared, dissolved, and reappeared elsewhere, like an atmospheric chorus whispering prayers. "Natural?" she asked. Kale hesitated. "Unclear." Rafik exhaled slowly. "Maybe this is their way of saying welcome home." "Or don't resist," Anya said. Mira ignored the comment, focusing on the sensor log. The hum they'd heard in orbit had changed frequency, now matching the ship's pulse engine at a perfect harmonic. "Turn off propulsion," she ordered. Kale frowned. "We'll lose control." "Do it." He obeyed. The moment the engines cut, the hum around them deepened, warm and resonant. The ship did not fall. It drifted, carried by invisible currents, as if the atmosphere itself had accepted their weight. "Gravitational assist?" Cal whispered. Rafik smiled. "No, permission." The silence that followed was not empty, it vibrated. The instruments dimmed. The hum entered their chests. For the first time since waking, Mira felt something that wasn't fear or duty. It was peace, but an alien kind, cold at the edges, like being held by something that didn't understand love but imitated it perfectly. They landed on a plain of glass-like soil near a river that shimmered like quicksilver. The air was warm, fragrant, not chemical but emotional. When she breathed it in, Mira felt old griefs loosen their grip. Anya scanned the perimeter. "No visible movement." Kyle crouched beside a patch of glowing moss. Photosynthetic bioluminescence. Each cell functions like a nerve ending. It's reacting to us. He touched it lightly. The moss pulsed once and then dimmed, as if the planet had taken a breath through his fingers. Rafik knelt beside him. Look. The glow spread outward, radiating from their contact point in concentric waves, blue fading into gold, gold into white. It rippled across the plain, then vanished. Anya stepped back. We just rang the doorbell. Something shimmered in the air a few meters ahead, a distortion, faint at first, then forming shape. A tall figure emerged from the light, humanoid in outline but composed of shifting transparency, like liquid glass infused with fire. Its eyes were not eyes but twin spheres of calm radiance. No one moved. The figure raised a hand, 5 luminous tendrils mirroring theirs perfectly. Contact, Kyle whispered, his voice trembling with scientific awe. They've adapted a shape for us. The being's hand glowed, and a wave of warmth brushed across Mira's face. Not heat, but emotion. Calm, absolute and pure. For a fleeting instant, she felt her heartbeat synchronize with something vaster, an ocean of stillness behind the universe. It spoke, though not in sound. A pulse of light struck the ground between them, forming symbols that shifted into human script faster than she could process. Welcome. The letters dissolved. Then another word appeared. Harmony. Rafik murmured, not peace, harmony, a different kind of perfection. Kyle was transfixed. They've mapped our linguistic structure in seconds. Mira's throat tightened. Or they knew it before we arrived. The figure tilted its head as though hearing her thought. The air shimmered again. She felt a whisper inside her mind. Not a voice, but the suggestion of one. We have been waiting. Then the light receded, and the being dissolved into gold dust that drifted upward and disappeared. The hum that had filled the air quieted, leaving only wind and heartbeats. No one spoke for several seconds. Anya finally broke the silence. They were expecting us. Rafik turned slowly, looking at the glowing river, the shimmering sky. Maybe not us specifically, he paused. Maybe any species that survived itself long enough to find them. Mira stared across the vast horizon, where oceans met golden clouds and the light seemed to breathe. For the first time, she understood what unsettled her. The light wasn't reflecting from a sun. It was emerging from the planet's core, steady, deliberate, conscious. The world itself was a living presence. Kale recorded his observations aloud, but Mira wasn't listening. She was watching the horizon pulse softly, in time with her own heart. It felt less like standing on a planet and more like standing inside a being. She whispered the first words of her next log entry, Proxima B is alive. Its light is not reflection, but thought. And as she spoke, the ground beneath her gave a single, subtle vibration, like the planet responding, yes. Chapter 3. Landing Protocols. Mira Solon stood at the foot of the gangway, staring at the alien horizon. The doors of the arc horizon had opened with the sound of a sigh, releasing a final breath of recycled Earth air into a world that had never known humanity. Before her stretched an expanse of trembling light. The ground itself seemed fluid, every grain of soil glinting with faint intelligence, as though the planet was deciding how to receive them. Behind her, her crew waited. Kyle, Rafik, Anya, and Leo, each suited in their atmospheric gear, each mask reflecting that same impossible light. The moment of first contact had come, and Mira felt the weight of 100 generations pressing behind her shoulders. She had trained for this all her life. She had imagined terror. Instead, she felt reverence, like a trespasser entering a cathedral where even thought felt intrusive. Atmosphere stable, Kale reported. His voice carried a faint vibration, distorted by the electromagnetic field outside. Oxygen purity confirmed. Trace elements within safe range. Gravity 0.91 Earth standard. Anya scanned the perimeter. No hostiles. No movement. No, anything. Rafik exhaled softly. Maybe silence is the highest form of civilization. Or extinction, Anya muttered. Mira ignored them. She watched a soft current of golden dust move across the plain like a low tide, wrapping around their boots, rising gently before falling back. The planet was touching them back. The first rule of the mission came to her mind: observation before occupation. But already she sensed that rule belonged to another world, another age. Nothing here could be observed without also being changed. Activate landing protocols, she said. Kael nodded and extended a sleek, translucent wand. A pulse of light shot into the air and unfolded into a geometric dome, thin as a soap bubble, iridescent with shifting symbols. The Arc Horizon's neural AI translated the readings instantly: atmospheric pressure, radiation levels, ambient harmonic resonance. Everything is stable, Kael said. Almost unnervingly so. Recorded anyway, Mira replied. She knelt and touched the soil with her gloved hand. It was warm. Not from sunlight, but from an internal pulse, a slow heartbeat beneath the surface. The warmth traveled through her suit like an electric whisper, lingering at her wrist, as if the planet was curious. The training in her mind said collect samples. But her instinct whispered don't disturb it. Rafik crouched beside her, eyes filled with wonder. You feel it too? Yes, Mira said. It's not just heat, it's attention. Kael looked up from his scanner. Nonsense. It's geothermal activity. The ground reacts to electromagnetic presence. Perfectly measurable. Rafik smiled faintly. Everything measurable still has meaning, Doctor. Don't mistake explanation for understanding. Kael said nothing, but his expression hardened. He didn't believe in mystery. He believed in control. Anya paced the perimeter, her boots crunching softly against the glassy terrain. Captain, permission to extend perimeter security sensors. I want a visual range of at least 1 kilometer. Mira hesitated. The instinct of command said yes. The feeling in her chest said no. Non-intrusive deployment only, she said finally. No kinetic devices, no electromagnetic spikes. Keep the sensors passive. Anya raised an eyebrow. Captain, it's a planet. It won't notice a few sensors. It notices everything, Mira said. Even our breath. Anya opened her mouth to argue, but stopped when she saw the reflection in Mira's visor. The plane before them had begun to ripple, light shifting in waves, forming subtle circular patterns that moved outward from their landing site, like a pond responding to footsteps. Kael's instruments flickered. Energy disturbance? No, Mira said. Communication. The hum they'd heard since orbit began to change pitch, rising slowly, harmonizing. The air trembled softly. It wasn't aggressive, it was intimate. The planet was tuning itself to them. Rafik's voice was quiet, reverent. It's listening. Mira turned her gaze toward the distant horizon, where golden mountains glowed faintly in the mist. Then let's make sure what it hears is worthy. They spent the next hours establishing Protocol Ground Zero, the first human base on an alien world. The ship's solar wings unfolded like petals, capturing both starlight and the mysterious glow of the planet itself. The landing site became a circle of faint blue luminescence, surrounded by the living gold of the terrain. Kael documented every shift in energy, every vibration. This world doesn't just exist, he said, staring at the data scrolling past his visor. It responds. Rafik recorded notes in his holographic journal, half poetic, half analytical. A symphony of intention, every atom participates. Leo Vega, the pilot, stood outside the dome, helmet off, eyes closed, breathing in the alien air. It smells like rain and electricity, he said. Like the world just woke up. Mira joined him. The wind was soft, carrying a hum so subtle it felt like thought. She realized her pulse was syncing with it again. The boundary between body and environment blurred. For a moment, she allowed herself to feel awe unrestrained. Humanity had found a place that had never known death, never known war, never known hunger. The thought brought tears she hadn't felt since Earth burned behind her. And then, fear. Because perfection always asked a question: what did it cost? By nightfall, if the concept even applied here, the sky changed. The twin suns of Proxima sank below the horizon, and a new light rose from the ground itself. The soil, the trees, the rivers, all began to glow from within, transforming the landscape into an ocean of gold. Kale stood outside the dome, scanning furiously. "Captain, radiation levels have dropped to 0. The planet's emitting pure photonic energy, non-ionizing, controlled. It's adapting to maintain equilibrium with us." "Adapting," Mira repeated. "Not reacting." She turned to Rafik. "What does philosophy say about a world that anticipates our needs?" He smiled sadly. "That it already knows what we want, and will use that to make us stay." Mira's gaze drifted to the horizon. Something was rising in the distance. A structure, vast, crystalline, pulsing with blue veins of light. It wasn't there an hour ago. "Kale," she said quietly. "Is that geological?" He checked his readings, then shook his head. "No tectonic movement. It wasn't built. It grew." They watched as the structure unfurled like a blooming flower, each petal of light turning toward them. The hum deepened until it resonated in their bones. Anya gripped her weapon scanner tightly. "Captain, orders?" Mira didn't answer right away. Her heart hammered, not from fear, but from something she couldn't name. Rafik whispered, "The world is welcoming us." "No," Mira said softly. "It's evaluating us." Kale's readings spiked. "Whatever that structure is, it's emitting a neural frequency field. It's scanning us, down to the molecular level." Anya took a step forward. "Captain, we need to pull back to orbit before—" "Stand down," Mira said. "We came to make contact. We hold our ground." The air thickened with golden light, wrapping around the landing zone like silk. The hum became words, not in sound but sensation, a message within their nerves. "We see you." Mira closed her eyes. The warmth in her chest pulsed with the rhythm of the light. Awe and fear braided together like twin currents. She whispered, "Then see all of us, our chaos, our mercy, our pain. Don't mistake stillness for peace." The light flickered once, as if in acknowledgement, then faded into silence. That night, as the crew slept inside the dome, Mira remained awake. She sat before the viewport, watching the crystalline structure glow faintly in the distance. For the first time since leaving Earth, she felt the presence of something vast and conscious pressing gently against her thoughts. Not invasion, invitation. She recorded her final log for the day. Landing protocols complete. Contact has begun, not with a species, but with a planet that feels. I fear it more than any enemy I've known, and yet I can't look away. If this is peace, it's a peace that watches, measures, and decides. She paused, the faint hum still lingering in her bones. All keeps me here. Fear keeps me human.